Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Matt and Wah Sports Guys from the North Side coming to you live on a Monday. Hawkstream Radio, the University of North Carolina, Wilmington's only and best radio station. My name is Matt Heiniger, and I will be here for the next 30 minutes doing a special Monday edition of Matt and Wah Sports Guys from the North Side. Bob is busy, so he will not be here today, but he will be here at our normally scheduled Friday show. So we'll have to do without Mr. Wassel today, but very jacked up on a Monday. You normally do not find Mondays in the sports year as good as today unless it's football season. Usually when football season is over, Monday there's not much to talk about. Not the case this week. I mean, let's look at this. We got March Madness. You want favorites? I'll give you favorites. You want upsets? I'll give you upsets. You want Cinderella games? I'll give you some Cinderellas. You want the big boys playing each other? I got everything. This March Madness so far has been awesome. Now, going into it, there wasn't a lot of overwhelming hype because we didn't have a dominant team. We don't have any, Anthony Davises in this tournament. So people had some doubts, and rightfully so. No one knew who they were going to pick in their brackets. No one knew who was the favorite to win it all. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. But on this Monday, I tell you, it's a good thing. Some people complain that the quality of college basketball is going down. Players don't stay. Players don't develop. Coaches overanalyze. You see point guards, scared to do anything without looking at the sideline. I should say bench, I'm sorry. But what you saw this weekend and, last Thursday and Friday was fun. And it lived up to the hype. You saw madness, March Madness in full effect. And the games we got in the Sweet 16, Louisville versus Oregon, Michigan State, Duke, Wichita State, and LaSalle, Arizona, Ohio State, Kansas, Michigan, Florida versus Florida Gulf Coast. Believe me, we're going to get into Florida Gulf Coast. Indiana, Syracuse, Marquette, Miami. What else could you ask for? You got a 1 versus a 12, a 9 versus a 13, a 2 versus a 15. Not into the, you like Goliath, you're not a David guy? All right, I'll give you Michigan State and Duke, 3 versus 2. I'll give you Indiana, Syracuse, 1 versus 4. Marquette, Miami, 2 versus 3. This is a smorgasbord for everybody. And everyone gets in on it, and everyone can have some fun with it. And even though we've seen some games, we've seen the teams, we've seen adversity, we've seen blowouts, we've seen buzzer beaters, does anyone really know who's going to win this thing? Does anyone have any idea what is the limit on these Cinderella teams? How far can they get? Can anyone confidently say that Wichita State cannot get to the Final Four? Is it impossible for a team like that to get to the Final Four? It's not. Not today, not this year, and not in this tournament. Now, we all know the story in sports right now. In sports, and this is basically taking over the sports world. Not the Miami Heat win streak, not baseball season starting up in about a week. Florida Gulf Coast, a 15 seed, a team that became a Division I program in 2012, is the first ever 15 seed to make it to the Sweet 16. Where on Friday night at Jerry World in Arlington, Texas, they will take on the mighty Florida Gators. In a game that, when you consider what these two teams are, and what their histories are like, and what their expectations were going into this tournament, that's as compelling a Sweet 16 game as you will ever find. Let's just take a step back, though. Florida Gulf Coast, okay? This is a school that became a Division I program a year ago. They first held classes in 1997. Okay? And this team lost twice to a team that was 12-18, and that team's name is Lipscomb. Lipscomb beat Florida Gulf Coast twice this year. Has anybody ever heard of Lipscomb? Just say it to yourself. It doesn't even come right off the tongue. Lipscomb. beat Florida Gulf Coast twice this year. Now, we should have taken a little bit of notice, and I'm surprised more people haven't brought it up, that Florida Gulf Coast did beat the Miami Hurricanes in the first game of the season. Now, back then, we had absolutely no idea that Miami would become what they've become. But hey, give Florida Gulf Coast a little bit of credit. They did do that, and you consider where Miami is right now as a number 2 seed. Nice victory. Good for them. Put themselves on the map a little bit. A little more on Florida Gulf Coast. The coach, Andy Enfield, an entrepreneur, got into the basketball business a little bit late. He's married to a Victoria's Secret model. And his team beat the number 2 seed Georgetown Hoyas and then put a beatdown on San Diego State. There's a reason that right now there's over 8 million brackets on ESPN. Of those 8 million, and whatever number comes after, over 8 million, there are only 4 that have 15 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams. So there's no perfect ones, and there's only 4 that have 15 of 16. And I can tell you what, going into this tournament, nobody knew Florida Gulf Coast. Nobody knew anything about them. The real diehard might know that they beat Miami in the first game of the year. The real diehard would maybe remember that. But then they'd say, all right, good for them. They won their, they're going to lose in the first round, and we'll never hear from them again. This is the kind of thing that puts a college on the map. Okay? People, when it comes to college, I think academics, you think, scholars, all that kind of stuff. Sports can do a lot for a college. We saw George Mason. Before that, no one really knew of George Mason. Virginia Commonwealth. Teams like that have come on because of their success in the tournament. The names are more recognizable. I'm sure the applications have gone up because we see these teams on television in nationally televised games. And good for Florida Gulf Coast. They've done it for themselves. The school was opened in the first classes were held in 1997. Think about how this school is a baby. And now they're going to be in one of the biggest stadiums in the world, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, on Friday night in Jerry World, taking on the Florida Gators in the battle for Florida. Well, not all the way. You still got Miami. But talk about a Cinderella story. Let's see what happens. I mean, hey, do I know? I have no idea. Could they come out and get spanked by Florida? Yeah, absolutely they could. But at the same time, we all know the Gators are not the model for consistency. This is a team that the Gators I'm talking about, kind of stumbled into the tournament. They lost the SEC championship game. They were up big on Minnesota yesterday, but they did let them creep back in. Now, am I going to pick Florida Gulf Coast? I'm not, but good for them and good for what they've done because I think it's incredible. And they should deserve. I'm glad that this is the story that we're all seeing and loving. And the one thing I don't like is people talking about, well, they might have celebrated a little too much, act like you've been there before. No, they haven't been there before. And they weren't expected to be there. And now they're here. So let them celebrate. Let them dump water on the coach after the game. Who cares? I mean, this is what we love about college sports. These guys are not paid, well, as far as we know. They're not getting paid. They're from a small school that wasn't expected to do anything. And now they're living the dream. And they're having a great time doing it. And I'm happy for them. So when we get back, we're going to go to a quick break, and we're going to talk about some of the other games that happened yesterday and some of the tight finishes and maybe a little preview of what's coming up this weekend. And, no Bob today, so Matt riding solo. Matt and Wasp Sports Guys on the North Side on a Monday. Back after this.